I call myself art business. I don't call myself an artist. Like, I'm not creating for the sake of, I do create for art's sake on top of getting paid for it. So there's a beauty to being able to live a wonderful life and meet wonderful people and connect them together and make things together. And it's allowed me to branch off into movies and television and documentaries and do things that I would never have been into if I hadn't done this path. So it's that blending of creative and commercial. I love it. I love it. It's fucking amazing.
You are now listening to the Best in Boudoir Podcast.
Please remember, this show is about boudoir photography. Every episode will likely contain descriptions of nudity. The images featured in the video version of this podcast may also contain nudity. None of our shows will be suitable for sensitive listening. In this episode, I talk with Andrew Thomas Clifton about the importance of leaning into what makes you unique. Thank you for tuning in to the Best in Boudoir Podcast. We're joined with another very special guest, Andrew Thomas Clifton, one of my favorite photographers. Actually, I haven't mentioned this yet, but whenever I got started in photography, it was really your work that kind of inspired me to think that it was, possible, and that it was photos that could impact people. And so you've been one of my favorite photographers for a very long time. I actually remember the first time we got to feature your work. So now that I've buttered you up, let's go into the questions.
What am I, a robot? Buttered you up.
Go ahead and introduce yourself for the people who might not know who you are.
You just gave me the best intro ever. I don't want to say shit after that. I mean, sorry, can I curse? I was like,
yes, it's fine.
Okay. I curse all the fucking time. So my name is Andrew Thomas Clifton. I am apparently a photographer. That's wild. You were talking and I was like, jeez, it makes me feel so old. I create cool things and I get paid and I love it. So that's my intro. Boom. Simple.
Well, you don't have to feel old. I'm actually older than you.
Get out of here. You look like you're 22.
Yeah, it's a problem. It's a problem.
Black, yeah. So you're at the bar getting ID'd.
Man, I got
a drink. They're like, yo.
Like 3 years ago, I got ID'd for markers, like permanent markers at the store. I'm like, yo,
people sniffing.
I'm like old enough to be your dad almost.
I could be your daddy, Mark Dad. That's fun, and black is because I was thinking when you said in the IG chat, you talked about getting in front of the camera, and I was like, motherfucker, you handsome. I don't know what you want to tell you. Like, you beautiful. You should want to be in front of the camera. Better get that camera money.
Let's hope. All right. So, boudoir means different things to different people. What does boudoir mean to you?
It's honestly just a word. I don't think too deeply about it. I honestly, I'm kind of an anti-term human. So like boudoir, to me, if I think about the technicalness of it, I think about French boudoir, like the area of the house. And French boudoir, I'll say boudoir drawings and boudoir photography, which to me thinks of like home, sultry, in your own environment, feeling like safe and sexy, quote unquote. That word's very variable. And so boudoir is a weird word. Boudoir photography to me is just sultry in whatever form it is for the person, or for the combination of capturer and capturee, which sounds like some kind of legal document. But like it's basically the combination of sultry that we can create with the people we work with, whether they're clients, friends, ourselves, whatever. And that can be very variable. There's no I don't have any rules to it. It's like you have to wear lingerie or be in moody lighting or super clean. No, it's like, how do you feel? How do you, it's really asking my clients, the first question I ask them is, how do you feel about boudoir? And then it lets me understand them versus me trying to say, this is what I'm going to do with you. I'm going to take you and do this. It's going to be like, wow, get all deep voiced and Batman. It's going to, no, just have a good time.
Right. And so how did you get started in both photography and kind of the boudoir side of things?
Complicated and yet simple question. Photography, it's funny. The oldest pictures of me outside of being inside of my mother's belly, or technically her uterus, I was in my dad's camera kit as a kid playing because my dad was like an amateur photographer. So my oldest memories are actually that day. I remember like the park, it was hot. I didn't know what heat was. I know I didn't like it though, because I just felt blah. And so my photography bug really started like as a child. And it wasn't really fostered because my mother and my birth father separated, and then my mother married a man who became my father, who raised me. And they're both educators, both professors, very, astute, and, PhDs and doctors and ha ha ha. And so I was kind of like the guy who like, I want to just create things. And they were like, yeah, but go to school. And so it just became a thing when I left college. I was like, I'm going to do some creative shit. I'm not going to be told what the fuck I can do. I'm no longer a child. I'm like a grown person now. Well, I thought I was grown. You're not grown until you're like 30, I feel like, in real life. And so photography kind of became a thing and as a career at that point. But boudoir, it's funny, I didn't want to shoot people. My first photography stuff was always things. It was like still life. I'll get technical so people can understand. Still life and like product. And like my first work I did actually was this park near my apartment. And I would just like shoot the swing sets and grass and the gravel. I was just into all that. But I was at the time dating the stripper, and she was an internet model back before it was a thing. Back when it was like she had it's funny, it's called Urban Glamour now, but she had like basically an OnlyFans page 1.0. And so she needed pictures for the page, and her normal photographer was not around. And I was like, yeah, but I don't do that. I don't shoot people. And so she bribed me with Chinese food and sex. And I said, great. And then we shot some images. I said, I'm going to shoot them my way, though. I'm not going to shoot them like he shoots them. And she's like, that's fine. I don't care. And I did like really artsy in the hotel room, very like, it's almost like Avedon-esque. I'm gonna get technical for people who are photographers. I can help them like understand, because I don't talk in these terms normally, but like very like dynamic lighting, very moody, very like neat. It was like so sultry, and the people and her fans loved it. The internet was like, back then was like, who is this guy that shot the images? And I was just like, I'm never doing that again. And it kind of just became a thing where it was like, oh, I always loved Black women. Specifically, I always very much enjoyed, like, I thought about my high school, my junior high school, my lifetime with Black women, my mother, her sisters, her friends, and kind of learning and seeing what that was for me to experience a woman from the outside. And so I realized my parents are both researchers. This is how I can do my research, because I'm not them. I don't want to write books, and I don't want to like sit in a lab or go to some school. I want to like tell the story this way. And so I started just telling stories of people. And that to me was boudoir, and still is. I still do that to this day. Almost 20 years later. It'll be 20 years since I did that shoot, 2004. So 2024, which is crazy. Fucking bananas to think about how close that is. But yeah, that's kind of the intro to my boudoir, as it were. But I never called it boudoir. And still, honestly, to this day, I only use the word boudoir because it's easier for people to digest. I try to say, just experience yourself. You're going to experience yourself in front of the camera, and that's what this is. And that's that. Let's go.
People really underestimate like the effect it has on people. Like everybody I talked to has been talking about like you said, the experience of really knowing yourself. I say that often. It's like you can't really hide from yourself when you're standing there in your underwear.
No,
it's just you, and you got to deal with who you are.
And that shit is, I mean, really, we're pharmacists in a lot of ways, and that's what the real of it is. Because you think about what we're doing with people, we're helping them understand themselves without doing it in the clinical way of like you sitting in a chair across from me in some Chase lounge and I got a clipboard. It's very much therapy. You're seeing yourself through your own eyes. Because now there are certain other photographers, like some of my actual good friends in life who are photographers. We shoot totally different. So how we do it is different. And that's the beauty of the variety of who we are. We don't do boudoir the same. And I love that. I don't like my boy Ransom Rockwood, who I've been down with since 2006, I want to say. Ransom shoots a more glossy, urban glamour-ish style. And I love that. I enjoy his work. And it's like, oh, you should know, like, I'm not a purist. Like I made like natural light and booty on the canvas and artois, but it's all creative to me. So I think that we're all helping people heal in the way that they can reach us, because the people who want his work generally don't want to come to me, and I'm absolutely cool with that, because I'm not going to do that kind of work. I'm going to say, hey, here's my boy Ransom, or my boy Chris Paul Thompson, or my boy Joe Holla in DC. Like I will like put you onto people, because if we don't fit, that's great. But I know someone that can fit you, and that's what's important.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. I think that's one of the things I'm really proud about Best in Boudoir for is the variety. It's like I try to pick all sorts of different styles of, like, I call it big tent boudoir, so that, some people get very narrow into what is and isn't. And it's like, no, it's like, if you're making photos where people are primarily undressed, come on in.
We good.
Yeah, we're all kind of doing the same thing here. No matter what your intentions are for the photos, why you're making them,
As long as you're doing it, you are doing
art is art. Yeah,
it's people. Like I think that's a byproduct of people getting too serious about our current climate in the world, right? Where we are trying to figure out. We're always trying to find a group, because a part of it is we're lonely, and we should be.
Yeah.
I mean, we've been disconnected for a very long time. We've been pulled apart. And so we're looking for people to align with like us. I get that. But we tend to get into this place where we find someone like us, and then we lock into that and don't think about the wider views. That's why I love what you do, because it's not a one style, one look, one vibe. It's the wide gamut, which should be great for you filmographers out there. It's like a detail y'all get, wide gamut, haha, HDR. But like the concept of like everyone is valid. Like I saw a guy on YouTube who obviously is doing it to like try to get girls, and I ask people, oh, is that? I'm like, yeah, but I mean, everyone has their thing. Like it's not my personal move, but I mean, I'm not gonna hate him for doing what works for him. I can't tell you how to live your life, and I can't tell your clients how to live their lives, because some people are looking for the same thing. So it's a connection that's going to be valid in the form it's in, and I hope we can get the fuck out of our own way. We're putting ourselves in this box as a culture of humanity. That scares me all the time, but it's a whole different podcast. That'll get deep.
Right. Well, we can get into it in a minute. First, though, what is it that you really love about what you do?
Well, I love that I get to do cool shit and get paid for it. I mean, that's the core. I mean, there's a level of therapy. There's a level of its expression. As my boy Artemis Jenkins said yesterday, he's very art and expressive, and I love him for that. And I call myself art business. I don't call myself an artist. I'm not creating for the sake of. I do create for art's sake on top of getting paid for it. So there's the beauty to being able to live a wonderful life and meet wonderful people and connect them together and make things together. And it's allowed me to branch off into movies and television and documentaries and do things that I would never have been into if I hadn't done this path. So it's that blending of creative and commercial. I love it. I love it. It's fucking amazing.
All right. And so what inspires you? Like, what do you look for to like really get yourself going?
What? Man, you guys need fucking deep ass Freudian questions. It's relative to the day, the client, the moment, because today I'm inspired by sleep. Like I get out this call, I'm going to lay down, so I have to go shopping later. I'm like gearing myself up to deal with people. But yesterday I was inspired by farmers. And so I just had this farmer energy in my brain. I kept seeing country music. So I told the model, just bring a bunch of like, old dresses that kind of fall off and shorts and boots. And let's find a way to like blacken up sultry farming. And it was like and the images came out really close to what I wanted. And that's a whole different story too. But like, I'm inspired by, it changes every day, every moment, like I'll say this now, I'm inspired by sleep, but in 20 minutes, I'll be inspired by a song I heard. I did hear a song. I'm like, damn, I get to New York, if I leave DC, Sunday, I'm going to shoot something to this song. I'm going to shoot something sultry as hell, and I'm going to get some thick ass thighs. I'm going to like make a whole like glistening thighs campaign and just do that. So it's very relative. It just happens and it doesn't happen, you know. But if it's for a client, what inspires me is what they're looking for. You know, it's getting into their head and like really digging beyond what they even think they want or know. Any client, I'm talking about commercial client, boudoir client, any client, like digging like get me into the back of your brain and the thoughts that you don't want to share with me. And that way I'm like a therapist, because I'm digging, and they'll say things and things that they said, and I'm like, damn, you actually like this. And I'm like, how did you know? I was like, because you said this and you did, but you didn't say this. And it was like, I'm seeing, that's my real, we talk about it later too, but like, that's my real gift. It's not photography or directing or cinematography. My real gift is I understand people really well. So I really get to like see them and hear them beyond all of the things they want to present. I see their core really quickly usually. So it's like, you can't bullshit me. And it just never works.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what's the thing that you hate about what you do?
Nothing. I mean, I don't know. I'll take that back. I hate
a noise.
I'm not using hate. I dislike the idea that I'm still learning how to balance it, because what we do is therapy. So it's very personal, which means we're pulling from ourselves, and I'll end up empty. I'll be like negative energy, negative life force, just kind of laying around like in this funk, like, why am I so confused? Because you just spent 7 days giving your life to people. And so I'm learning how to balance it, how to really take breaks really every week. Take like 2 days and just like kind of fall back and go off the grid and be left alone, you know, and it drives the people around me kind of nuts, because it's like they get worried or it's a thing, but I need space to recover. So I dislike the idea that I still have to do that. Like, I haven't figured out that balance yet, but it's coming. So I won't dislike it for long.
So yeah, you have to be able to recharge, and you know, like, yeah, I envy those people who can like recharge on the go. That's where you want to be.
You have to, or you will die. It's like, it sounds dramatic, but it's like, think about like the greatest creatives we know of our time and before our time, and think about how most of them tend to die young. They're giving so much. Like, it's like Mitch Hedberg was one of my favorite comedians ever. And this guy tried to cover his life up with drugs and alcohol and all, but he was he wasn't getting it out. He wasn't recharging. And so he gave us this great comedy, this legendary comedy that a lot of comics now have stolen the energy from. But like, he died because he couldn't, you know what I'm saying? So it's really, it's a cautionary tale consistently to me to not end up like those people. As much as I love them and aspire to be them, like Patrice O'Neal, amazing. I tend to like comedians a lot, which is kind of my thing, which is wild. But he died of a heart attack. And there's typically signs your body is starting to kind of fail. And I can't speak to, I don't want to get all technical into Patricia's life and stuff, but like thinking about people dying like young, because he was 40. I'm 40. Yeah. That's wild. Like, no, I'm not, I love you all, and I love creating with you all. I love my clients, I love money, I love art, I love me traveling. I will not give my life for this. Right. No. My children, yes. For this, absolutely.
Yeah, it's scary whenever you see that and you're like, oh yeah, that's real close to home.
Like, Jesus died, and I'm still, I just always like bring up, like, Jesus died at 33, and I'm like, shit, I'm 40, I beat Jesus. But then it's like, people get like, it's like the jokes I be trying to tell, it'd be like, people get so upset. Like, Andrew, I'm like, just let me meet my friends. I am the most inappropriate jokester ever, because I crack on everybody, every cause, every group. I'm like, you're getting it. There's no win.
Yeah, that's me. I have a real dry, inappropriate humor that I try not to let people see, because like, if you don't know me, it's like, to get the joke, you have to understand that I don't believe these things.
Right.
Otherwise, I'm just an asshole.
Oh, just an asshole. I had to delete my whole Twitter history, because it was like, it was really bad, and not in a way that I consider it bad, but in the way this world does not understand. They're ready to jump on me, Paul. Like right now, I they try to cancel me, but they can't. I am not going to be canceled. Like I'm going to say, look, if you don't understand it, then you're an idiot, and I cannot help you for not understanding nuance. I cannot give you that gift. But life is nuance. It's not monolithic. Like Bill Cosby, but that's the story.
Oh, so what do you need to do your best work? So like this is anything. Is it gear, music, like coffee, whatever?
Sleep.
What do you need?
Sleep. Everything else doesn't matter. I don't even drink coffee. I stopped because I realized it's like it's meant to cover up, a lack of energy, which can't be really resolved by coffee. It's like putting nitrous in your car because you don't have any gas. I mean, you're gonna get a boost, but eventually you're gonna get some gas in the car. Yeah. So I just changed my diet, and that's been helping infinitely with like inner energy in general.
Is it like a particular number? You need like X hours?
No, I just need good sleep. I mean, typically, because I insomnia really bad when the pandemic first started. I was sleeping 2 hours a night, 2 to 3 hours. It was rough, and this happened for almost 4 months, and so almost 5 months, and so I didn't notice the difference. I did, but I didn't. But my friends all noticed the difference. They were like, "You are just crabby, and you're just." And I was like, "What's wrong?" And I realized I'm not sleeping, and I was like, so I had to like reconfigure my brain. And I tried the drugs the doctors recommended to me because I do have insurance. Woohoo! And so like I was like trying the drugs, but the drugs are, again, they just cover up what's missing. And it was anxiety. There was a lot of things in my spirit just I wasn't dealing with. And so I had to like pull that shit out. And even now I still deal with this, to be clear. So like it's like last night was great. Night before was even better. Night before that I slept 4 hours. But it's really related to, I know circadian rhythm. I know I have to like turn my LED stuff off at night. I have to like, we have blackout curtains now here on the windows. At night, it's like pitch black in here, which has been beautiful. No phone in the bed.
Those are great. Those blackout curtains.
Man, they're fucking amazing. Like I didn't know how much of a difference it made until the first night I slept like a rock. I was like, oh my gosh. I woke up and I was like, where?
No idea what time it is when you wake up.
Yeah, it's fine. I know I'm not late.
Yeah.
I don't sign for anything early anymore. So I'm like, if it's before 10, I'm like, you have to pay me at least 5 figures to get me up before 10. So good luck.
All righty. So now we are into the 5 photo segment.
Ooh, okay. So there's this photo I did of Krista yesterday, actually. And let's talk about it. It's such an open. So Krista is a model, literal full-time dope model. And we have been meaning to shoot forever. And I am not interested much in commercial-ish work right now, as far as like fashion for houses and stuff that looks like the same old shit we've been doing for 100 years. I'm not interested right now. I'm like, give me something new, something fresh. And so when I gave her the farmer idea, it's harder for her to open her brain up because she's used to commercial modeling, where it's like, turn and him suck it. We had some joke photos where like she sucked her stomach in so you can see her ribs, because they always, want you to suck your stomach in so you can see ribs, which is weird as fuck. And so we did a lot of photos on this old truck because it just felt very country, and she wore this dress that was see-through because the light was behind her. I like off-center light. I hate when like just facing someone that's boring and shit. And so I got her to give me some emotions that I had never seen her give me before, give anyone in any of her photos. And it was kind of wild to be able to pull that out of her. And that's the director in me. I love to like get the best performance out of my actors, to like let them do them, but also give them enough guidance to get them there. And so it was just really fun to get on top of the car because I didn't want her to sit up there. I was like, let's get up there and stand up there. But she sat down. I was like, oh shit. I was like, okay, well then give me the mood you're feeling. It was hot. There are bugs out here. We both are lit the fuck up right now. I like a pepperoni on my arms right now. It's just literally bad. And she gave me this energy of like almost sexy frustration that I love. I love that shot. I didn't put it up today in the group I put up, which was kind of wild. But I love the energy of like, no, don't smile. Feel how you're feeling. channel that, like use that. Like I tell actors all the time, use what's in front of you. Like if the set is too hot, use that heat to give me more performance. We can get the fuck out of here. So like actors or models, I'm like, if it's hot and you're sweating, I wanted you to sweat. And I want you to feel hot. You don't have to seem baseline, which is what society wants. So she gave me a look I felt like was strong as far as standing against a baseline idea, where it's not anger. It's not anger at all, but it's frustration, but it's a beautiful frustration. And how she's sitting, like with her legs open. I have daughters. Always, people are saying, close your legs. I'm like, no, they can sit the legs open. It's their fucking legs, not yours. Get out of their fucking legs, bro. Like, don't look at her fucking pussy if her legs are open. Like, can you not look? What's wrong with you? So there's a vibe of like seeing her do all these kind of rebellious energies at one time just felt good to me. And that's like the answer I'd give for this. I'm like, it's a dope picture. I liked it.
So you don't pose, like, I know you called it a funky documentary photojournalism. That's what it was. Funky photojournalism.
Yeah. Oh, fine art. I used to call it fine art, which is funny. But now I don't know what I call it now. I say random shit all the time, bro. I can't keep up.
Yeah. I mean, these are, I don't know how old the interviews were when I was reading up.
That's why I said that it was probably fine art photojournalism for years.
But how much direction do you give, and has that changed over the years? Like how much posing do you do?
It really shifts. Like for her shoot, she needed more direction because she is used to a different kind of work and a different kind of photographer. Like I don't know anyone that shoots the way I shoot. I've never met anyone who I've hung out with, who shot with, or who's like moves the way I move. I am 1000% emotive. And so as a director too, I'm able to, so it really depends. Like in her case, it took more to get her to this place. But once she got there, she could ride. Because the rest of the photos from that set, she just wrote it out. She kept the energy, she kept the vibe, she felt it. And that's the key. If your talent or model or client or whatever can feel it, then you're good. Then let them feel it and let them give you because it's a collaboration. It's not meant to be, this is exactly what I want as I want. I need your head here, neck here. And some people do that, and I'm like, great, do that. But like, then you're missing the whole point of it being that both of us here. I want you to bring something, and I want to bring something, and I want to see what comes. And if we get 10 photos, from 100, that's better than none. So I'll take it. I'm not. And then, plus the shoot had no real purpose. I mean, it's not like it has to happen. I mean, I'm probably going to put it in this new magazine I'm developing, but like other than that, there's no need for it in that way. And so that keeps it from being like, now commercials are different. Like if I'm doing like a commercial boudoir set for like a lingerie brand, it's different. Then they want something. They want to see their lingerie. They want to see a mood. Then you have to do more directing. You have to get people to get that. But this is just, let's have fun and see what we get. And people thought, it's funny, we bumped into these 3 women that were on top of this thing at the goat farm, and they were smoking hookah. And they thought we had been friends forever. Like, dude, we just met today for the first time in person. And they were just like, what? I was like, yeah, that's who we are. We're joking, we're cracking jokes, we're talking about crazy shit. We're just like silly. And they're like, you guys are so like friendly. I was like, yeah, because we're having fun. It's not and it's, if I can't have fun, I don't want to do it.
Yeah.
I'm not interested. You keep your money. Hire somebody else. I know plenty of people you can hire. I'll call them for you.
Nice. All right. So next photo. I think these are.
There we go.
Start.
The chat is weak. Oh, okay. I see it. Oh, that's pretty cool. So I click it. Oh,
I love that you're surprised by your photos also.
I'm surprised by what I picked. I literally clicked 5 random photos on the desktop and just threw them in there.
Nice.
All boudoir ones. I almost picked one that wasn't boudoir, and that would have been funny. This one it should be seeing a strip club photo, right?
Yes.
So, I mean, I could get all classy and shit. Yeah, I had this idea about the light and the ass. I mean, the truth is we were shooting a TV show for BET, and we were in the middle of a wardrobe change, I believe, because Ja Rule's on the show. and Ja Rule was changing, and him and the other three main actors were changing. And so I saw that we had some dancers that were on set early. So I said, hey, why don't we do some cool just photos just for us while we're here of us just like showing the kind of other side of the strip club, the before and after energy, not the on stage energy. We did some on stage ones and they were like, meh, like everyone does that. But I really enjoyed like the idea of right before you get on stage. And I was channeling my inner Stanley Kubrick. Because I was thinking about this whole like the idea of like, you know, because he used to push a lot of, and this is to get technical, he used to pick a lot of lenses that were like crazy low aperture. Like he shot a whole film one time like a 1.0 aperture, which is bananas to me. I think with candlelight, which is like, dude, I died trying to monitor that without digital. Like I can't even see the actors with my eyes.
Right,
and
trying
so,
to catch focus.
Yeah, like, are you kidding me? Like, your AC was like, man, fuck this motherfucker. Fuck you, Kubrick. I can just imagine that shit happening in real life. Because I've pulled focus here and there, and I'm like, yeah, you need a lot, and you need to be good at it. So anyway, there were these three girls, and I did a series on each of them because we had about 20 minutes, and I just did a couple of shots, and this girl really caught my eye because Irv Gotti was directing the episode. And Irv took a liking to her energy. Irv like really wanted her in like the main scene and all this stuff. So I was like, all right, let me like use her first. And she has a very striking look. Like it's very slim, thick, very her body as a Black woman kind of, because Black women have so many different kinds of bodies. They all defy expectations. And so you think someone slim can't have an ass like that. It can't be hers. No, it's hers. I felt it. It's real. Like I was like, wow, okay. And she's like, yeah, I was like, okay, let me see. She's like, sure. I was like, oh shit, this is like, and it's amazing to me how Black women have this spectrum. And so her shot was just her. I mean, just not to get too deep, but like it was her and then this thicker girl and this super thick girl. I did all three of them. And this was her. And I just love the hair, the lighting. And if you look in the background, you see it's not actually the strip club. I mean, it's strip club, like people are setting up. There's some crew in the background. Like but the average person is going to look at that and only see her. They're going to see, oh my God, look at this girl, look at the stage. She's about to get up there and dance. In real life, she wasn't. She was about to go back to the back and have some craft services. So it's kind of this like random dope moment I liked, and I just captured it. And there's a couple other ones I almost put in there, but there was her and this other girl who I didn't end up shooting, who was right there with her. But for some reason, when the other girl saw me, she started performing for the camera, which is what people usually do. They see a camera, they go into other person mode. And so I was like, no, I don't want that. I need you to be. So I just panned over, cut her out, and just, let's go. Let's go. So yeah, that's it.
Yeah, I was going to ask about this photo. I had seen it. It was like, because, you know, like you said, I didn't notice the production crew in the background either. Like you can see the LCD and whatever. But I was like, oh, and I've seen some like amazing photo journalism. I thought you were just going in you were going to do a new series.
that's what everyone was like, and I played with that expectation because I made a post about, I was like, yeah, I'm gonna do a documentary on strippers, and everybody's like, oh my gosh, I can't wait. I was like, I just like going to strip clubs. I think it's amazing, but I'm not about to do a documentary on that shit. I just want to like enjoy some ass in my face. Like I'm good enjoying it versus having you document it for your hit. Because like the truth is, you see that ass, nothing else in that image matters, and that's kind of the point. It's like, there's literally like production happening in the background. Like it's a whole production day. And no one saw this image and been like, oh my gosh, that's what's going on. Everyone's like, oh, yo, this is the, oh, yo, this is, and also I use the depth of field to play with it. Like I had to but that part of my brain, the technical part is always kind of in the back working, but he's never in the front. He's in the back seat. Sit in the back, motherfucker, and drink your water. It's like, I want to create some art. I want to, I'm good. So yeah, that's that image.
All right. So next photo.
Let's see what we got here. This is Chantel. She's gonna love this one. So Chantel and I have been literal friends since 2007. Man, we're so old now. And it's wild because she's one of my favorite musics. Mm-hmm. And it's just because we just do shit. And there's like no, like, it's like, this is like, sultry. But I'm looking at my sister, which is kind of like always kind of a weird, interesting energy for us because people think, oh, you guys are so good together. I'm like, yeah, we're like family. But they're like, oh man, you want to hit that? I'm like, that's like my sister, man. Like, what? No, just enjoy the titties, man. Go away. Like, so like this is literally actually right behind me.
Yeah,
right there. Because I have a Monstera. She's newer. Oh, if I point the camera, that's pretty cool. My Monstera her name is Monster. It's her actual name. And she is a vibrant plant. She took over that whole corner. It was her, and as I had a Birds of Paradise there too. And the Birds of Paradise started wilting because she was kicking her ass. So I had to like move her in the living room and like, okay, you have your own space now.
Separate these two.
Separate the bitches. So like it's funny because Shan was like, BET needed a video for a background of another show. It was going to be these monitors in this producer scene. And so I shot a video of Chan for the show in that outfit. It was like really sultry. I put her right here on my bed. I have, you can't see it. I have a super dope bed here with all linen sheets in my drawers. It's amazing vibe. Shot the video for them, and then we were done. I was like, all right, let's do some random kind of avant-garde boudoir stuff against the wall with Monster there, because Monster has an energy to her as a plant that you have as a human. Chantel shows up in your feed, she takes over. Shows up in your space, she takes over. She's very like, she's takeover energy. She just takes over. And so for me, it's a personal shot. It's very much like my family. My family, it's not like my plant's not a real person, but like she has her own energy. Chantel's like my sister has her own energy. That to me is what this represented. It wasn't like, it was more like we were done shooting. It's hot, as you can see. I like to keep it warm. I like models to sweat and naturally versus having to use like a bunch of olive oil and coconut oil and just get some sweat in there and the makeup will be fine if it's good makeup. If you're wearing makeup, who cares? So anyway, that shot is kind of a family portrait. That's the irony of that shot. It's for people to be like, oh, look at this lingerie, look at yeah, it's dope and it's all dope. And it's my sister and some lingerie and a plant. So like it's different for me. And it's because of my relationship to both of them, my new family and my old family. And so we're vibing.
And people really underestimate how unsexy photo shoots can be. Like, it's like, I'm thinking about lights. I'm thinking about like our tags showing.
Man.
Sometimes, I'm depth of field. Is there something crazy happening in the background I didn't notice? It's not what people assume is going on.
Like I love those people who like have, you must be fucking all your models. And I'm like, man, I am cracking jokes the whole time. Like they don't generally want those photos posted. I love those the most. I love laughing photos, but I am a goofball. I just happen to be a sexy Black man who is tall and and I know that works for me. I totally understand the fact that is a part of the appeal of working with me. Is my energy is good. I look good. There's a vibe there versus, a lot of people come off creepy. Don't be a fucking creep, bro. Like, what are you doing? Like, this is going to be something we talk about later. I'm putting a pin in that because that's a whole different can of beautiful worms we're going to open up because that's
okay,
dude.
All right, let's move on to the next photo.
Stupid. All right, what's the next photo? Same corner. This is Sor. I forgot to pronounce his name for y'all. I call him something different because we're kind of cool at this point. So, long story short, the story behind this photo is I got my first acting gig on a television show, on a network television show. And the television show, my scene partners were Karuchi and Sarnas Jackson, right? And me and him hit it off instantly. It was like two brothers. It was like, and people know him from Insecure. He plays Dro. Everyone's like, oh, Dro. I'm like, he's an actor. It's not who he actually is. So we started talking and he was like, yo, I'm leaving town. Well, we shoot something. I was like, yeah. What if we defy expectations with a shoot with you, right? Because everyone expects you to be like the actor, the guy they see on screen, the guy they see in front of the camera. They want you to be this sexual, tall, ladies' man, rah, rah, rah. And he's got the vibes, to be clear, like, motherfucker sexy and cool. That's how it rolls. But like, I want you to be with someone who is totally just an everyday woman, because that's what we both in our conversation found very sexy. Nothing against actresses, nothing against actors. Everyone's beautiful in their own way. I prefer just a woman that works at Walmart, you know, or a woman that works at Family Dollar or some shit, like everyday women. And so the woman we picked, who was actually as a lawyer, which is super wild, she hired me to do boudoir of her before. And I was flipping through images of ideas. And I was like, yo, what about her? And he was like, oh, yo, she'd be perfect. And so not this image specifically, but the whole image set was meant to be this combination of two worlds colliding in this sultry way. This image set was like him watching her get undressed and like tease him, which is more classical, you know, boudoir stuff. That's like people expect to kind of see. But some of the other images that I posted 2 of them. Well, he posted more than I did. I only posted 2. I just haven't gotten around to it. But like, they're very soft. She's like laying in her lap with his with my PlayStation controller, like playing PlayStation 5. It's like a real.
Yeah,
like,
I've seen those.
Yeah, and that is the thing about we talked about earlier is about what people expect for a shoot to be, what people expect like our lives to be like. They think I'm just walking around here with Amazonian women. And the truth is, I used to when I was younger, and I still could if I wanted to. It's not my vibe anymore. Right now, I'm chilling. And so, but I understand this need to like show this collision of worlds to get away from like constantly showing the same thing. Because so many boudoir photos I see show the same type of people.
Yeah.
Same type of interactions, the same type of like, she ain't got no rolls, he ain't got no rolls, he ain't got no titties. Like, it's like very everyday without every day. So what if we add in every day? What if we add someone who's a professional actor who does movies, television shows, and things, and add them with someone who's just an everyday woman and get them together and see how they interact? And at first, it took her a second because she's not an actor. So, or she's not, you know, a professional model. And so she had to warm to the idea. But you learn this from acting, scene partners are more important really than anything else. If the person you're acting with cannot vibe with you, it's gonna be shit. Yeah. There's nothing good to come of it. And so he let her, and they became like cool, and they got this really cool, chill, sexy vibe. And she was open to kind of doing whatever. So, I mean, there wasn't sex on set, but it was very much like he had to squeeze her ass. It was like he laid his, one image I did not post at all, he laid his head on her ass. And it was like one of my favorite shots because it was like so normal. Because I love to lay on some thighs, man. You kidding me? Like lay on a nigga, I'll be knocked the fuck out.
Happy place.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like many a nights I've gone to sleep. On the thighs in the living room right now, many a nights laid up on her, just literally just her rubbing my head. I'm just done. I'm just done. There's something. So I wanted to show
the head rub. That's
done.
Knockout.
So I had to grow the hair. It's a defense. She can't get me out because she'll knock me out. Like it's
no work done today. Sorry, I didn't get your photos edited.
Nothing. I didn't do shit. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, but you'll love them when I give them to you. My clients know. I'm like, I mean, I get them to you exactly on time, but you get a great experience. You'll be all right.
Anticipation, it builds. All right, last photo.
Last photo is one for the crowd. I did one. I was like, let me grab this one. This is Malaya. This is one of the biggest, most well-known of the urban models from the generation that the girl I dated came from, because she dated Drake. And because it was a whole thing where, Drake would, he talked about her in songs. Malaya, she's on fire, something. And it was just like, oh my God, Malaya. And she's dope. She's a cool person. She's great to work with. She's a client of mine. We do a lot of work together for her site. I loved this shot. Because I designed it to be like, again, when I do things with people, I try to get them out of this normal shit of like, all right, spread eagle. All right, hold some books. All right, I was like, why don't you do something like you came home off of work? How do you chill? And this is her old place. Because she's, I'm getting her business, but she's moved since then. And so I loved the lighting in her living room back then. It was like kind of perfect. She had north facing lights. It was like, oh, it would just be like, let's shoot all year in here, goddammit. And so
you mind if I book other people for your living room?
Yeah, I mean, shit. I thought about it, but as busy as she is, I mean, she shoots content like every day. So like, it'd be hard to even talk to her half the time. You know, she'll hit me up randomly on like a Tuesday, and then we'll talk again like the next Tuesday. Because she'll hit me up, I'm ready to go. All right, cool, what's up? And then it's like crickets. I'll be like, so that idea, we still doing it? But it, you know. Anyway, so long story short, yeah, it was pretty much designed to be like this every day. Hey, you know, I got off of work. How am I going to chill? And those are my headphones she's wearing, because I tend to buy really nice headphones because that's my nerd spot. Like my Master and Dynamics, they're not meant to be like high end. They're meant to just be beautiful and sound good. Oh, I fucking love them. So she has those. She has my AKG open backs on. They're like my super dope studio house headphones I listen to, where you can hear the sound that bleeds through the back of the headphones if you're in the house with somebody. Mm-hmm. And it's meant to be her just, you know, as she always does, or as most women in generation do, flipping through a phone, chilling on the couch, you know, and the booty is there and the focus is the booty. And it's wild because this shot would get two different responses from men and women, right? It would get the response from women. I love that response in general more because it's more interesting to see. Oh my gosh, she has a nice ass. Oh my gosh, she's chilling. And it's like their instant like response, like, oh my gosh, she's chilling. I want to chill. I love that. Like that's the whole point. I want you to go chill. You know, a dude will, you know, see like, yeah, it's nice ass and shit. Yeah, whatever. And it is. I mean, she has a very nice body. To be clear, like it's crazy and it's soft. And so, like it's bananas to me how perfect she is, right? In that way. And so I don't usually edit photos. I have been vehemently against it for the most part, pretty hardcore since 2005. I used to edit a lot more. So I was a graphic designer first. And then I became a photographer. And so I know how to do it really well if I want to, but I edit it just enough so you don't see all of the bumps that are there, because she is conscious of that. And I think she should ought to be. And that's why I like doing what people want. Like, it's not always about me. Like, if you want me to edit the photo and you want to pay for it, let's do it. You're going to get, like, it's going to be expensive. You're going to do one, it's going to be great. This is like a 2-minute edit. This is a very fast edit. That's why it looks like that. You can still see, like, you can see where I didn't shade it well. And then I just did it so I could throw it up on Instagram or some shit. Like, I'll even put this image up at. So I just enjoy her time. I think she's a person that people kind of put in one category because of her history and because who she's been. But Malaya is a dope human. And so this is a very human moment. This is like your ass is out, but like anyone who's actually spent time with a woman knows, in general, they don't wear clothes around the house. Yeah. Ever. Like they right now during the pandemic, you see like business up top, booty down below. It's like crazy. Like everyone on the Zoom call is seeing the shirt and the button up, and I'm looking at, damn, look at the thighs, look at the ass and the chair. Like it's a different thing. So this was kind of just a subversion in some ways, but also an acceptance of expectations, because it's got the booty there and the booty is the focus, but the focus is the vibe of her relaxing too. So it's dichotomy.
And that's one of the debates about boudoir that I really bothers me too. Like, you know, people talking about like whether models are boudoir. I was like, models are women too. They're real people. They're real lives. They have the same insecurities as your other clients do. It's just
probably more.
Most times more. But this is their job, or you know, this is what they choose to do. It doesn't make it that different. It's like I don't. This, like you said, people just want to have a defined group and then need somebody to be against. And the term model is completely misused. I think that because we assume like model, actress, you know, actor, whatever we try to put them in a category of their own. And the truth is they are as human as us, if not more, because all the models and actresses I know
because you are like, it's like what we do, right? We are aware of ourselves to the nth degree because every day we have to challenge it. We have to see it. We have to deal with it. There's no escaping when you're creating yourself. There is none. Like, unless you're doing drugs or you're doing it, which is fine to you, but like you can't run from the actual. So if you're in front of the camera, which is what models and actresses do for a living, it is very, you have to see who you are. You have to be the person. You have to. There's no avoiding it. And so there's a level of more aware of their own flaws, quote unquote, or their own selves in a way that the average person would never be, because they can run from it. I know people who never looked at themselves in the mirror. You know, I had clients who tell me they've never had anyone take a sexy photo of them ever. And I was like, I take sexy photos of myself every day. Every day. I take a sexy selfie. I share one every 75 because I love seeing myself. And also it's a challenge to remember because I have a personal camera, my Leica Q2, which is somewhere around here. My Leica is like my camera to shoot myself with and my personal pictures. I don't use it for work at all. It's all like, this is how I'm feeling, this is what I'm seeing. There's something to that. And so for models and actresses, I think they are misunderstood. But I think on purpose, because we need someone to be our quote unquote heroes and someone to be our, our scapegoats for our feelings. Oh, she's on the couch. She must not love herself. She loves herself just fine. It's not the way you love yourself. Right. But that's life, my nigga. Like, what do you think this is? Ugh, humans.
Man.
I wish I was a turtle.
All right. So any advice for like your younger self or photographers in your position and see you want to be or want a similar trajectory? What advice would you give like that person, your younger self or whoever that is?
Well, my younger self, I talk to every day. Therapy has pushed me to do that. That's been fun. And I say fun with a nerve-wracking response to energy. I'll talk to other people because talking to myself is very personal. I don't share that shit. But talking to other people, I'll say, motherfucker, you ain't me, be you. And there's my trajectory is because I'm me and because I cultivate and harness that energy. It is impossible to be me. You're not me. You're you. And that's your power. And I tell people, you are your most powerful tool. Your vision, what you want, what you see. But we've been taught to look to others, to follow theirs, because that must be the right way. But the truth is, they have never done what you are going to do because they aren't you. It's a rhyme. I'm a flower. So like, that's the core. I don't look to anyone for inspiration. I don't look to anyone else to like be my guide as far as visuals ever. I may be inspired for moments by like something I see in someone's work, but I don't push myself to be like, oh, let me now do that. No, because there's a danger. There's a danger in the current culture and in current art to try to do what someone else has done, even though you aren't them. That's an unwinnable chase. You're just the sun chasing the moon. Like it's just going to keep going until you realize you are you. So what is your history? What is your story? What are you into? Do that. Like if you like hentai and all you want to do is shoot anime chicks all day, do that shit and be unashamed. Like own that shit because there's a market for you. There's a market in the whole for you that's going to be like no one else can do. If all you like to do is shoot white walls with grits or spaghetti on them, like that's your thing. Do that thing. And so, sorry, I got distracted by this fine ass woman. And so there's this concept of like getting away from ourselves to try to be someone else. That is a loser. Like you're not going to win that battle. And anyone that does it, you watch anyone that you've aspired to be, you look at any old filmmaker, photographer, anyone that's done that, they end up switching later. And they always end up saying, I wish I had done this sooner. And Will Smith even said it. He said it in this Rap Radar podcast like 2 years ago, and it was beautiful. Saying, I wish I was still fearless. And it was such a powerful statement. I don't think anyone was really, I was like, ooh, I feel that. Cause like as you get older, it's like, I don't think as much with my random rebel. I'm like, I don't feel like I got to fight to show. I know who I am. I'm good.
Mm-hmm.
What you mean I gotta, no, I'm showing up at 6:30. You show up at 4:30 in the morning. I'll be, no, I'm me, son. So it's like, my advice is always the same to people in general. It's just do you. Don't listen to me. Don't listen to anyone. Find yours. Because I kid you not, I've never found more success in my life as a father, as a lover, as a business, as a whatever, than doing what works for me. That has been like everything, every fucking thing. There's nothing else that matters. I mean, when I tell you, like, the story about the acting I mentioned earlier, the kicker is it didn't happen because I want to be an actor, right? I have no desire to be an actor. I have still to this day have zero desire to act in front of the camera. Zero desire. I have no desire to act, but like, because I am Andrew and I'm fun and I'm friendly and people like me, I know producers and I know scriptwriters and I know department heads. And like, there was a line producer who talked to an executive producer who I also know, who's like, oh my gosh, Andrew could do this role great. So they called me in. I'm not in SAG. I don't have a SAG card. They had to like do something where I forgot, it was like fast track me on the back end through. So I was never an extra. I've never been a supporting role. I went straight to a speaking role in a major television show from nothing. And it's not a brag, it's not like a humble flex. It's like, it's because Andrew is Andrew. And I got in front of the camera, and because I know cameras, because they're shooting with Sony Venices, they're using Zeiss Supreme Primes, I know those. So like, it doesn't feel awkward for me. I'm not like in front of the camera like I'm nervous. No, I'm just talking. So me and Karuchi, because Karuchi is my first scene partner, we're just vibing. And people are all like, have you ever acted before? I was like, no. They were like, you're just so comfortable. I was like, dude, I've used these cameras before. I've been in this environment. This is not new to me. So it's a matter of like knowing myself and doing what I can do. I didn't even have a script. Mm-hmm. Like the director, Rob Morrow, who to this day, Rob Morrow gets all my love because Rob trusted me. Rob and me had like a 2-minute conversation. He was like, oh, he can do it. I was like, great. And I got in there with no script, none. I didn't know the history of the character. I didn't know who they were even playing because I'd never seen the show. They knew I could show up and do it. And I impromptu my way through a whole scene. And everyone was just like looking at me like, dude, you should act. I was like, I have no desire. Because this is a random. This is a one-off. How often someone gets to show up and just do that? You know, you have to read a script. You have to repeat it all day long. Shot, reverse shot, coverage. You got to do it a different way. No, that's not my goal. I'm good. I had fun. Yeah. It was great. And my mom I showed my mom a little video of me doing it. I had my phone on the side recording it. And that was it. That was wild to talk to my mother and be like, Mom, can you believe that the movies we used to watch and shows we used to watch, I get to work on them, but now I'm in them?
Yeah.
Bananas. And all it comes from me doing me.
Yeah, I think people, I know especially me being, we're roughly the same age. I think I got a year on you, but you know, you get that advice of being mass marketed. You know, you want to bland yourself down, appeal to the, you know, largest common denominator and, you know, remove all that uniqueness from your presentation. But, you know, that's exactly the wrong way to go.
Yeah, it's the opposite.
Yeah.
You have to, but that's hard to, I mean, it's easy to say and hard to live when you think, let's really think about that, because as a concept, it's easy to say, do you, but we both have a level of establishment, a level of doing, a level of, I mean, I think when I was younger, it was way harder but I also had no one to tell me this. I had no one to say to me, do you?
Yeah.
No one around, not a single person. Like I tried to be an assistant. I tried to work with other photographers. I tried to work with other directors. I tried to like learn under people. And what I've learned is that number one, if they feel threatened by you, they won't work with you. Because they can, that's like now we can see when someone's going to be big. We can like I can look at young guys like, you know what, or young woman or young other, all the categories. I can look and say, you know what, all the pronouns, sorry. I can say you are going to be dope at what you do because you just have a different, you're just there. instead of trying to like what happened before us was stifle it, I'm like, yo, how can I help you? And not because I don't want anything from you. I don't want you like to protect me or like to offer me a job later. I want you to be big so you can be big. That's it. And it's also hard for people to accept because they're used to people like using them. Because I was used a lot. I mean, this one guy, terrible, terrible photographer when I was first starting out. This motherfucker was horrible. He's like, I'll be your mentor. I was like, I knew I was better than him already, but I was like, we'll try it. And I went to a couple of shoots. I was like, yeah, you're trying to fuck these chicks. Like you just like he would have them over and like set them food and like have them up in the room, and I'd be downstairs. Like, well, how am I assisting from downstairs? Like, what am I doing from the couch? I don't understand why I'm here. I could be home. And so and to this day, he still does the same fucking thing as 20 years ago. But it works. I mean, there's a place for local.
He's found a niche.
And I had a client who needed something done in Birmingham, Alabama, where I used to live years ago. And I was trying to find somebody local to shoot it. I was like, hey, I'm not taking a piece of your money. I'm trying to give you a check. And it became this like issue of like, oh, I got so much to do. I'm like, nigga, you ain't got no money. You ain't got nothing to do. What you doing? This is an easy $700 for 2 hours of work. Show up, take the pictures, and go the fuck home. And they don't need you to be me. They want you to be you. So just shoot the way, you pull up your flashes, do your thing. But it was like, it's like pulling teeth. But then I recognized also why they were local. I remember like why they've never left. You're still in the same place because you haven't grown to a place beyond doing the same thing. And there's nothing wrong with that. It's not growing beyond, as ex-father said. You just haven't changed in that way. And it's okay. Like my boy Chris told me a story recently about a photographer in Oklahoma City who shot the clubs when he was first starting. He shoots all pictures in the clubs. And he was like, he worked under him for a little while. He was at the club working. Like, okay, I'm a club photographer now. And Chris now does like campaigns for like everyone. Chris like works for Savage Fenty. Like he's like huge. And he talked about this guy, how he's still doing it. And he was, but reverently, like he's still doing that. That's his thing, and it's fine. And I get that, and I get it too. I'm not the local photographer though, or director, or cinematographer. I'm the guy who gets to travel every week, and but we're not better or worse than each other. We're all just different, and there's like a level of acceptance of like the guy who is a shitty photographer back in Ohio is still there doing the same creepy ass shit. And that's my advice. Don't be a creep. Like you're never going to win being a creep. Like there is no victory in being, there's no long-term victory in being a creep, period. I've had people tell me, you were the only photographer I've never heard any stories about. I was like, because there is none.
Last question.
Yeah.
Of this section, where can people see more of your work or something you want to promote, anything you want to talk about?
Nothing to promote. Promote good living and drinking water. So drink your water. My work is on Instagram and my website, Andrew Thomas Clifton on Instagram, Andrew T. Clifton, I believe, on Twitter. I can't remember Twitter anymore because I hate Twitter. And AndrewThomasClifton.com or EvolutionVintage.com. Yeah. I got some stuff coming out, but I don't promote it. I'll just put it out and be like, hey, y'all like it or not? I'm putting it out. So here, enjoy.
All right. And that wraps up our 10 questions segment. So now we're just open discussion and we can get back to talking about creepy photographers and better living.
These motherfuckers. I want to talk about them. These motherfuckers.
Hey there, it's me again. I hope you're enjoying the show. If you are, please be sure to like, subscribe, and rate the show on whatever platform you're using. As a brand new show, your support is critical to our success. At this point, I'd like to thank our sponsors. Unfortunately, we don't have any yet. If you represent a business and would like to help our community of photographers, models, and clients discover your products or services, please contact me at admin@bestinboudoir.com. Okay, let's get back to the discussion.
Funny, there's a, not even photographers, but there's a Buff Nerds Media. It's Jacob, I can't think of his last name, him and his partner. They have a business, and he did a video that talked about the best Steadicam, the best stabilizer you can use is taking care of your body. And it was a simple concept that was just wild. Like, don't go for the high end stabilizers, actually like work out, build tension strength in your arms. And I agree. I think that we have to, because we tend to, as we're behind the camera, tend to be shy about taking care of ourselves. And it's not about, be clear, this is not a fat shaming. This is not I have to say caveats. People always want to argue. This is not like a shaming of anyone's body type. I am a chunky guy, let's be clear. I'm not a skinny dude at all, but I keep myself to a certain level of shape, and I'm getting to a different level of shape right now because I got kind of just tired of being tired. And we have to take better care of ourselves because we're letting ourselves fall apart because we're just capturing. That's not, we deserve more. We have to, self-love for us is major key too. Not just for our clients, but for ourselves. And that's what I've been pushing more lately, has been getting specifically Black male photographers to take care of themselves, to drink water, to go for walks, to take breaks, to take the hit in finances if you have to keep yourself whole, because the more whole you are, the more finances you'll actually have in the long term, because it's not about your talent. And that's the argument we get into all the time is, is it about gear, talent? It's about neither one. It's really about the experience.
Yeah.
I've gotten to the point in my career where I really understand how stupid I was in my 20s to think that because I'm talented, that's enough. Nobody cared. Some people cared, but it's like, it's not the talent that, like right now, as I'm sitting here talking to you, I'm also texting my New York client because we're getting locations squared away. And I'm talking to the model I just talked about from yesterday. And I was telling her in a text right before I got on this call, I was like, I got to go to it real quick. I said, you were holding back yesterday. And it showed. And she was like, I didn't think it was that obvious. And I was like, yeah, it was. And so I appreciate your honesty. We have to be honest with ourselves and with our clients. We have to cultivate an experience where they can grow. Like, the images were dope, but they would have been 20 times more dope if she was really locked in, if she was unafraid to be raw. And there's a level of rawness that for Black women specifically is harder to show because of how society has dealt with Black women, which is why they're always late. They're always late because they're reclaiming their power and their time. And there's a respect that I have to learn. I've been learning more lately how to deal, because I dealt with a father and mother that were like, to be early is to be on time. Period. There's no late. There's no late. My mother is now late. She's old. She's like, oh, okay, I'm just gonna be late. I'm like, but you spent all these years telling me, let it go. So women are, so helping Black women see themselves differently as a part of our work and our personal is like the vibe and thrive. So I'm sharing with her because I want her to be better. I want her for her next shoot to, because again, we talked about earlier, it's you're the power. So I'm telling her, your modeling is your modeling. It's not like imitating Iman and, Naomi and Jessica White and, whoever. It's not that. It is what you bring to the table, something unique. You harnessing your own power is what gets you work. Because now it won't be for every company, and it shouldn't be. I mean, that's a rarity that everybody wants somebody. That's more about clout than what your actual ability is. It's more about the game. But you will only get good work if you can show how good you are. And that's what I'm trying to get everyone around me to see. That's kind of my push right now. I mean, I need my team to be dope. And I've been letting people go and walking away from folks. And I had an assistant for a shoot a couple of days ago for a comedian and this actress. And, he showed up, he was late. Like, bro, you're getting paid for this. How is it you decide to show up late? And I asked you, are you good on transportation? I need to come get you. I need to send an Uber. What are we doing? And he's just like, oh, I'm good. And then 30 minutes late, I'm like, it took everything really in me not to just cut him off, to be like, I ain't fucking with you no more. Because I'm like, that to me is a sign of respect. But there's a trauma there this is being aware of trauma. So I'm in therapy. Being aware of the trauma of Black people and how we're all just, he's got his own trauma around trying to be a photographer and people respect him and trying to learn the game from a different perspective in a different age than I did, a different time. It was easy for us, I think in a way, because there was a lot of openness and it wasn't everyone wasn't a photographer back then either. It wasn't like everyone had a camera. Now it's like, I got a phone. I'm a photographer. I'm like, all right, cool. I don't I don't care. We're not competing for the same client. So, I mean, I don't tell you, like, I'm good for you.
Yeah.
Congratulations, my man.
So same age, but I started photography after you. Like I was saying, I didn't really even, I think I was like mid 30s when I first really picked up a camera to start using it. So I was like 10 years into a career. But yeah, it's a completely different thing with like, and like you were saying, another thing about like good work is overly abundant. Like Flickr, like Instagram, there's amazing photographers out there producing amazing work, but it's you. It's the person that makes the difference. Like you said, it's not your talent that makes people win. It's that mixture of talent, the connections, the you making it move, the life that you give it that really changes things.
Absolutely. So I mean, that's the shit's more important than gold, man. But these, and we started different times, but we have, because we're a similar age. I think age plays a big part in it more than anything, more than when you start. It's the vibe you have. It's the, because we're the generation in between analog and digital. So we have both worlds in our brain. We're constantly thinking of both. But like my children, they don't see analog. Like even though they grew up, we had house phones. Me and my ex and my mom were very, very intentional about keeping things around them that were old world. So they wouldn't, if things went to shit, you're not shocked. You pick up a phone and go like this. It's not weird to you. Like their friends are like this. Like, what the fuck is that? Are you holding a banana? No, this is a phone, son. But there's a I think boudoir photography is kind of in a weird space right now, in a weird state, because I think that people are developing expectations, because now the word's becoming more mainstream. So you say boudoir, and now people get it. Oh, okay, boudoir, and then some people are like, oh, what the fuck is that? But like most people are like boudoir. It's like, oh yeah, boudoir, but they think in their mind what they perceive boudoir to be, and it's like, no. That's not what we're doing for you, because you aren't that. You are not, you're thinking about lingerie. You don't even wear drawers. What you doing lingerie? No, I just want you to lay here, or just chill here, or to smoke here, or to do whatever feels sultry, read a book, take a walk, make a smoothie. Like that's one of my favorite photos I've taken of her specifically, is a photo in the kitchen where she's just washing dishes. And I shot a low angle photo of her. It was black and white. And Instagram went ballistic for that photo because it was very everyday. It was just like this private moment. And there's something to that, like these simple moments where it's like just washing dishes, but I just chef's kiss. That's because that's what we talk about, as men and women and other, what turns us on. And I'm turned on by the simple shit. I'm turned on by sweatpants and a t-shirt in the house. I'm turned on by like intelligence. And it sounds crazy.
Exactly.
Not sapiosexual. No, I'm an intelligent person. I love booty and brains. Like all the ass and roll will make up for if you're an idiot, and all the brains will make up for no ass. So it's like, I like nuance. I need to feel something from all sides of you. And that's been the interesting question I get a lot lately. What are you into? And I'm always like, number one, you don't care. Why are you asking me? Number two, it takes a paragraph to explain. I'm not about to type all that shit out. Like, I'm older now. I don't care.
Don't worry about it.
It's weird. I'm like, I don't care. Just go away. It's my response in my mind. Just go away. You're not gonna when someone's gonna hire you, or someone's gonna or someone's just trying to fuck you, or someone. You at 40, that wisdom is there. You're aware of the signs showing you what this is, and you're
I've seen this before.
But yeah, but as to kind of end our technology talk about on some random shit, like I think we get caught up in. This is a sore subject. I see a lot of people that get caught up in gear. And it's like, I have to have this, I have to have this. And we've all been there. Like when I first started, to be clear, I was there. I was like, I wanted the first Canon 5D really badly. I was like, oh my gosh, I want this full frame camera I can have. And it can shoot, kind of video, but not really. And that was the whole goal. And was get like 1D at the point. I think 1D Mark II, I think was out the first, not the 1DS, not the one that digital, the one, whatever it was called back this. I don't even remember. And so I lusted after gear. And then you realize over time how little that gear matters if you're working. Like if you're working as a creative, you can rent. You can have one thing in your kit, or you can rent your stuff out if you have a bunch. Like I have a Red Komodo. It can be rented out. Like I don't have to like sit on it. I can like, okay, you need a crash cam for your shot. I got one. Let's go. So you're making money off your versus letting it sit there. Now, if you're not creating full time, gear should not matter at all because you're not. What are you doing? Like get the cheapest camera you can get your hands on because it's still as good as the best camera. There's no. The difference is you got to work more, but you got more time because you ain't a professional. Time isn't like time for us is a commodity. That's why my laptop costs almost $6,000 because I have to be able to work with speed. I can't like spend all day edit. I have to be able to edit photos as they come in instantly. I got to be able to edit an 8K raw stream out of a Red Monstro as it's coming in. I cannot have something. I need to render. No. It needs to render instantly, and I need to keep moving. Like I don't have time because that time is where I have to spend more money. So I learned that from Matty Hapoya on YouTube, which is funny. He broke down the math of, as creatives, time and how you're really being paid for your time. And the less time you can spend more client, the more time and money you keep for yourself.
Right. Yeah.
Mind blown. It was like, wow, this is so simple and so poignant. Thank you, Matty.
Yeah. And actually you're getting paid because you can do it fast. It's like
because I'm gonna show up and give you everything the same day. I mean, because I can do a wedding and have your wedding stuff to you within 48 hours. That's a win.
Yeah,
that's a win. I don't have to, like, to be clear, the contract states 7 to 10 days, but like Scotty,
I can sit on it for 4 days.
Scotty on Star Trek, that's the best quote I ever saw. He was like, I lied to Captain Kirk. We were just like, what? He said, it really takes twice as much time. I give him half so I can seem like a miracle worker. I was like, Scotty been lying since before I was born about being a miracle worker. I love it. That's some cool shit, man. That was a great scene. I fucking love it.
Give me a tech rundown for all the gearheads. Like, what do you use? Camera, lens.
I can't. I use so many
stuff.
cameras. I use what the project needs.
Yeah.
Because it's per project. It's really like, so generally, like right now, full time, I have a Fujifilm X-T4. I've got a 23, a 50. I don't know where it is. I don't see it. It's in the living room probably. I got to clean it. A 50 something. Those are the ones I own for Fuji. I just sold my Canon stuff, but I had what did I have? God, I had a 5D Mark III. I had a R. I still have the lenses. I have some of them. I sold most of the lenses. I have like a 35L, 50L, an 85L. I've got a 35 Zeiss Otis.
All primes sound like
55. Yeah, I don't use zooms. I'm weird like that. I mean, I know that it makes it easier, but I don't like fully easy. Like Zack Snyder, I like things I still manually focus too, for the most part. I like the feeling of it. I can use autofocus is the most amazing tool. Like right now, this camera is literally like auto-focusing for me, which is great. It saves me time to turn the lens, but like in general, I will manually focus. I feel more connected to the art in that way. But yesterday's shoot was all auto-focusing. So like I'm evolving. I'll do whatever feels good at the moment. Like I'm not beholden to one idea.
All right.
But yeah, cinema cameras, Red Komodo, C200 or something. I think it's a version. I only have one. So I have the C200. I think that's all I have left. Everything else I sold. I have a bunch of monitors, I don't know what I have, man. Like I look at the project, I say, what do I need? And I say, can I use mine? I got to rent. And I charge to the client. I keep moving. I don't like, that's the win of renting.
What you shoot with doesn't matter. It's getting it done.
For me though, because I have clients with budgets, so I don't like have to operate in that world anymore of struggling. Plus, so Fuji, I found to be the most flexible system because its dynamic range is absolutely bananas. Like I can shoot, blow out the highlights in camera, pull them all the way back later, pull the shadows all the way back later. It's like Fuji really has something magical here. And there's jokes about Fuji systems from other people. Oh, the autofocus isn't that good, blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, do you know what you're doing with what you have in your hands is the question. Like, do you understand its limitations? It's not a Sony. I use the Sony A100 project. That thing is ridiculous. That autofocus will track me jumping up and down, running sideways, leaving the frame. And it'll probably track me out of the frame and then come back like, I know where he went. I can guess. It's like, it's tracked this runner the entire time through other people. It was like, at this point, if you can't do what you got in your hands, you're fucking it up. And so, but in the Fuji case, I prefer the old school look. I prefer the old school feel. I love the battery grip. I love the lenses. I have it's the one piece of gear I do love. I do love my my ProMist filters. I fucking love those things, man. I don't have one on right now, which is wild, but I have a 1/4, a 1/2. There's something about that. It makes it feel like film so much more. Oh my gosh. It's like, dude, it just cuts the fucking highlights and curves them over and it's less work in post. I don't gotta do any work. I just like, all right, let's go. Simulation, we out of here.
All right. Let me know whenever you have to get out of here. But there's one thing I really wanted to talk to you about is that on your website, I noticed that you're a hard photographer to like you said, put in a box or a category. You have a lot of stuff on your website. I know you kind of started as a wedding photographer. Do you consider yourself a wedding photographer now? And then like, I saw that you do like a lot of like, you have food, you have street photography, you have travel photography. Like, I appreciate that you're someone who just like, I see things, I take photos of them. Like I want.
Yeah, I never consider myself a wedding photographer. Weddings were and are, I still do them, are fun. I mean, that website, it pays for itself a million times over. The wedding website I have. But I'm very specific about wedding couples I work with now because I know the kind of couples I will mesh with and will not mesh with. I know that I don't deal well with needy couples because I'm more chill and relaxed. I don't deal well with people who want glossy and like this. That's not my style. Mm-hmm. But I know 20 other photographers. Danielle Finney in DC is one of my favorites. She's absolutely amazing. She's a wedding photographer who shoots a kind of an opposite of mine. Very natural, but very open light, very raw in a more glossy way than I do. And I'm like, hey, Danielle Finney's dope. Please hire her because we ain't gonna mix. I like and then I'm stuttering, so it must be complex in my brain. There's this concept that you should only pick two things as a creative. You should pick two things because the average person can only remember two. That's real talk. I mean, living life, having kids, going to work. I mean, whatever your life is like, you're busy in general, you're human. But I believe in the power of what I call multiplexing. And I think that, or I'll say interplexing today. And my interplexing abilities all have to be shown because the truth is I am all these things. I'm not even a photographer. I don't even like use the title. I used Imagineer for years because it fit. I do imagine shit and get paid for it and engineer it into reality. But I don't think any title really fits me now because I do so many things. Like I was writing a script yesterday. I wrote a script while I was waiting. I was drinking some tea, writing a script before I got lunch, came back here, went to go shoot, came back here, had a meeting because I have a social media management firm now. We're managing someone's social media for them. I have a couple of law firms we're gonna start working with. Like there's so much I don't talk about that I do because I have the ideas and I just do them. Instead of like posting about it and launching it to the crowd, I'm like, let me just do it. Let me just have fun and do it. And like if people don't know, they don't know. And that's I'm not on social because like you said, we've been online for a long time. And when we first got online back in like the 90s, it wasn't about show and tell. It was about growing. Everybody wanted to learn. We be in those little chat rooms. We'd be in AOL chat, Yahoo chats, and we all just be like vibing together. Like there was a Black Voices chat on AOL that was like, there's a bunch of Black folks like kicking it and talking, you know, and there was something that's been lost in the internet's evolution, which is natural. Things evolve, they change, like Apple. You know, when Apple first reignited itself when we were younger, when there were power books, I was in there and I knew everybody in the store because I was like, oh, okay, you're in here enough and you know us. Like we're like a vibe. I go eat lunch and go hang out at the Apple store. Now I'm a number, and that's okay because evolution is a part of life. I mean, that's like, I can't expect it. Like just like the people I've known, I don't have all my clients memorized. Are you kidding me? Like we have an assistant in a book, and like I can't keep up with everybody. I don't even know what I'm doing tomorrow. Like I have to refer to the schedule that's been created for me to look at. Like this was on my schedule. Like, oh shit, okay, I didn't get a call this morning. I quickly refreshed my brain. Call Boudoir, dope shit. I was like, you know what? We're just gonna freestyle it. I'm not gonna write anything down. I'm just gonna show up, and that's all I was sitting here like trying to put the shit together because I was like, I don't know what to do. But I think that if we limit ourselves to a singular idea, we lose what makes us human, which is our ability to do these multiple things. You know, a lot of animals are kind of stuck in like a fly is going to fly and eat shit. That's his job. That's his function. Our functions are a little bit more complex, a little bit more dumb because our complexity makes us stupid. But like, we have to be willing to allow ourselves to be different. And so when everyone's like, you should have 2 things, I'm like, no, I'm going to have 20. And do all of them well. And there is no like jack of all trades. No, I'm a master of all these trades. You don't understand it because you can't conceive it. And you can't conceive it, which is why you're not doing it. And that's okay because I'll do it for you.
Let me be me.
I will collect the check. I mean, there's like the writing the script has been fun, and I might shoot some of it on Sunday because I'll be in New York. I was like, if the idea is for a New York short, I was like, I'm in New York. I might as well like see if I can get this woman I want to act in it, see what she's down with. I met this actress, China Lane, who was in Spike Lee's movie. She's Got to Have It television show. I met her on the set of a BET show. We vibed. Let's shoot this Eartha Kitt idea. Oh my God, this is dope. Let's do it. It's like, I don't wait for the world to tell me it's okay. I just do it. And I may never share it with the world. I do a lot of stuff that never gets posted because if you think about posting and you think about sharing, you may be missing the point of doing it. Not saying you are, but you may be. It may be eluding you because you're trying to think about someone else. Instead of saying, I've done shoots I've never shared and will never share. I'll have to die. And when my children take ownership of the company, I'm sure they'll want to like make a book and like say, oh, this is like a legacy of Andrew Clifton. And then like, oh my God, he shot with, Kelly Rowland. And yeah, it just never came out. So like, I don't know what to tell you. Like, I didn't think about it because it didn't matter because just live. I just want to live, And that's more important to me than that's a combo me and Artemis Jenkins had yesterday about just what is the purpose of creating. Artemis is a phenomenal documentarian, phenomenal creative. He's a multidisciplinary beast. He has an exhibit right now at the High Museum here in Atlanta, an exhibit. And so it's just like, and it's like his work, he does like this, he just does. And then like, I love it, but I also love the dudes who do. And it's like, hey, I'm Mr. Meeseeks, look at me. That's fine too. Like, there's nothing wrong with that. We all have to do what we do. Rick and Morty reference for those. That was a deep cut.
That is one thing that I was thinking about when I was looking at your work, and you do a lot. It's very varied, but also it's all very you. Like you have a look and a feel that permeates everything. So like your photos, whether they're like what you were eating versus like the sultry boudoir shots, like your videos, like it's very you. Like you can spot your stuff. And I think that, and to bring it full circle, like that's what I think is the success, is that people know what they're going to get with Andrew Thomas Clifton, whatever it is.
Some dope ass shit. And the food page was a total joke. The food page was a parody. It was like, it started off as like a food. It was like let me make fun of food.
Those are quality photos though.
Yeah. And people started like, oh my God. I was like, dude, I'm making fun of them. They were just like, oh, so like brands are reaching out. Can you come to our restaurant? I was like, oh my god, like I don't know if I want to. But I'll take your money though. So let's do it. So it's become a thing like that. That's the next. I can talk about that briefly before I get off, but that's kind of the next phase is being in front of the camera because the food page has become kind of its own beast. And I do love to eat. I do love to cook, and I love a lot of friends who are chefs. I have friends who do a lot of things. And so like I've wanted to dig into that world more. And the passing of Anthony Bourdain hit me in a way that I cannot explain. Anyone typically, I don't feel like that for people I don't know. I feel for people I actually physically know. But Leonard Nimoy hit me hard because he was a multidisciplinary creative who was limited by society to be Spock in a lot of ways. He was a very talented photographer too. Extreme. Look up his work. He was talented as shit. He did a whole.
I noticed you have a lot of Spock quotes. I was gonna ask
because as a kid, I was more into Kirk. I was more into Spock than Kirk. I was like, Kirk is cool. Kirk is the cowboy, but Spock is the smart one. And Spock's
he's
smart.
He's the one making things happen.
Man, he'd be like, I don't know, Captain, it's not a good idea. It's not a good idea. Don't do it.
Gotta go save this dude again.
Yeah, this motherfucker. They're down to the planet. Fuck this girl and got her pregnant. I gotta go take care of this fucking baby and disappeared and shit. Spock. Leonard Nimoy was a hard hit just because of I met him in Birmingham. His photography exhibit came to Birmingham, and when I lived there, and I went to go see it, and I was just like blown. I was like, "You do photography too?" He was a singer, he was a poet, he was a writer. It was like all people knew him for was Spock, and that was kind of the message. It was a lesson for me. It was like, don't let them limit you to what they know you to be. So, and I'm honored that everyone looks at me as a photographer because I recognize that my history as a photographer has always been a strong thing, but also I don't take it to heart to the point that I don't keep doing the other things I love to do, because photography may be financially 1/5 of where my money comes from now, literally. But it's the thing that people want to get used to, and it's easy to say, "Oh, Andrew's a photographer," because it's easier than saying Andrew does whatever the fuck he wants and gets paid great money to do it. And that's because then it becomes a question of people's own self-worth. What is he doing that I'm not doing that I could do? Why do I feel so much less worth than him? Nope, I have to limit him too. If I can only work at Walmart, he can only be a photographer. But the truth is, no one has the limitation. But we allowed society to teach us and preach to us and embed it in our brains that we are one thing. Yeah. To all of you listening, you are not one thing. You are whatever you choose to be. And I cannot stress enough. I cannot say enough. I cannot breathe enough for life into the concept that you have to do you. Because when you die, you're not going to be able to say, I coulda, shoulda, woulda. It's just going to end. So like Jazzy Jeff said, die empty. Leave it all out here.
I don't think we can come up with a better ending than that. I'm going to let you get on with your day, get your shopping done. Thank you so much. Also, I wanted to thank you because whenever I booked you for the show, one of the first things you did was congratulate me on launching the podcast. And then again, when I told you I'm a complete rookie at it, congratulate me again. So thank you for also being supportive
like a rookie.
and thankful. I'm very thankful for you encouraging me. You keep going. So
you're fucking worth it.
Yeah. Thank you for spending so much time with me. Thank you for answering the questions. We're going to have to do it again. So much more to talk about.
You let me know when I'll make the time. I got the time. Right. It's my schedule.
Andrew Thomas Clifton. Thank you.
Peace.
All right. Bye.
That's all for this episode of Best in Boudoir Podcast. Thank you again for joining us. Please remember to like, subscribe, and give us 5 stars on every platform you find us on. We need your help to grow our community. This is the Best in Boudoir Podcast. I'm Jamal Williams. Keep on creating.